I love Mari. So great to talk to her. And it's interesting because she runs a multi-million-dollar business, but then she's also a coach. And you were saying in the episode how we talked to a lot of coaches. And I think coaches are some of my favorite people. Like, we've had some of the most amazing people showing up as coaches. And I can see people who, sometimes have disdain for that, but it is a very valid field. And the people, what I see is the people who are doing that work, like Mari, are just people who are trying to expand. They start by expanding their own life, and then they start realizing that, hey, others, let me bring others with me, and let me help others expand. And like, what an amazing thing. And it's often, and not always, but probably just the nature of our podcast, it's often women lifting other women. And like Mari said, when women lift other women, or when women are lifted, we bring others with us. We bring other women, we bring men, we bring families, we bring children. So important. That's the matriarchy, right? We center the children and the women, and that makes the world better for everyone. So Mari's just like walking that walk, and I love it.
Yeah. Walking the walk for sure. But yeah, we talked a lot about modeling, because she has been a model for her children around the way she has lived her life and been able to work. And then, as she says it, give herself permission to not work so hard and do maybe her passion work, her purpose work, which is this coaching, right? So you'll love her. She is a bundle of energy. So everybody listening, if you want a little fill your cup, she'll fill it up.
The world is a lot right now. Are you feeling it? We all need new tools to help us walk through the chaos with grace, ease, and compassion for each other and for ourselves. In this podcast, you'll hear from parents, educators, and other experts who can bring perspective to the monumental job of parenting. It's time to level up and be warriors for our kids and our communities. This is the Warrior Parent Podcast. I'm Marci Mitchell.
And I'm Debbie DiManno. As parents, we understand that it really does take a village to raise our kids. We hope that this podcast serves to create and support that community for you. Join us as we discuss and practice our core tools, which are proven mind-body techniques that can be used by anyone to improve your life on a daily basis.
Welcome back to the Warrior Parent Podcast. So great to have you joining us yet again. We love talking with you and having you listen, and always would love for you to reach out too. So know that you can always do that. Today's guest is Mari Wuellner, and she's the CEO and founder of the Crew Life Coaching Collective, as well as a State Farm agency owner. She helps business owners grant themselves permission to do life differently. It's time, people. We got to do it different. At 24, as a college dropout and a single mom, she built her agency from 0 to 3 million. And then she granted herself permission to step back and pursue coaching. Today, she's on a mission to help people write their own permission slips instead of waiting for validation that they may never receive. So good to have you here, Mari. Great. Very excited to talk about what we've got on the list for today.
Awesome. Marci and Debbie, I'm so happy to be here and chat all things parenting and permission slips.
Yeah.
Yes. Boy, what I wouldn't have given to have a permission slip, a little bit earlier in my timeline. I'm just going to say. So I was working mom, breadwinner, the whole thing, trying to support a couple of families and a couple of kids trying to get to college. And I had my big crash also. And so, at some point along the way, I met Marci. And through that, we started this nonprofit organization, the podcast, writing a book, like all the things. So we gave ourselves permission, but probably not quite as young as you. So
no, definitely not. But in our time, right?
Yeah. So I'm so excited to hear your story, from 24 and dropping out of college, and how that all happened, and how you got to be a coach. So give us the story.
All right. Thank you again. And it definitely, permission slips were something I definitely outsourced for a very, very, very long time. Permission to do anything.
Yes.
As a college dropout, I quickly got to work living a life on default, right? Really, taking a pen and paper and writing down the to-do list of life.
Yep.
Get a job that has insurance, buy a house, get married, have the kids, and dun, 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 you made it and you're happy. And I got to work doing all that and
Yeah.
growing the business and living a successful life on everyone else's terms.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple years into the business, my first business, hustling and grinding, I had my first panic attack in the office. And I did not know it was a panic attack at that point. I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was dying.
You think you're gonna die. Yes.
Yeah.
Been
I
there.
drove myself because I'm like, I can man up. Give me a break right now. Drive myself to the emergency room. And the doctor was so kind and compassionate. And he said, "Oh, this is a classic panic attack." I said, "What?
Right.
Do you know who I am? Do you know? Do you know what I've accomplished?"
Excuse me. You must be mistaken.
There's nothing wrong with my brain. There's nothing wrong. I got it all together. Yes.
I'll just push through it. Let me push through it. What do I do to push through a panic attack?
It's been working. It's been working. Yes. Give me the hack. Give me the easy button. I got to get back to work. I got to get back to hustling.
Oh my gosh. Classic. So classic. Yeah.
And I landed myself in therapy. And I was like, well, okay, I bet I can I could be the best therapy client ever. I'm gonna get through this quicker than he's ever seen anybody get through therapy. And again, I had
win at therapy.
Yes.
Oh,
and
Marty,
I said,
this
tell
is
me
all
what to
so
do.
relatable.
Yeah, tell me what to do. Give me my to-do list.
I don't have time for all this talky stuff. Just tell me what to do. I'll get on it. I'll check back in. You can check me off and then back to work.
And he said, "Oh, honey, that's not how it works." Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was like 15 years later and I'm still in therapy. So
yes. 30 years for me. I'm not bragging. It's not a contest, but
I love it. I love it. And it was at that point, that not right away. It took me a while, but I was so scared that it was such a scary, scary feeling and experience. I thought, oh, okay, I do have to do things differently. I have to start granting myself permission to do things that are in line with my values, my integrity, my health, or else I might die. I might have to sell the business or leave the business or, not be able to continue. And so that was one of the things that happened in my world where I was like, oh, the permission slips or the roadmap that has been dictated to you is not the one that you are meant to go down and not meant to follow. And so living on purpose became my mantra at that point. And I'm a self-proclaimed curious student of life. I love learning. I love learning from my kids, particularly. They're the best teachers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And granting myself permission along the way as I fail and mess up and stumble and do things wrong and pivot and tweak, permission to just continue to grow. And so that's how I got here, I guess. Inside the insurance agency, I hired my first business coach again. Just tell me what to do to be the millionaire, the success story. And she said, well, you should probably start coaching your team. If you want your team to do it the way you're doing it, you probably should spend some time with them, coaching them. And I was a horrible leader. I wouldn't even use that term in hindsight to describe what I was doing. I was the helicopter boss, right? Just nitpicking everything in every single conversation. I didn't even like me. Nobody liked me. And so I started coaching my team. And when I did start building this rapport with them, coaching them on conversations and sales and insurance and all the things that are going to make me money, it became really apparent that I was like, oh, they're not happy at home. What if we did some coaching or had some conversation about how to be happy outside of the business? So we started coaching on business and on life. And I would post on social media 12 years ago. Monday's my favorite day. I get to coach my team. And organically, other business women started reaching out and saying, will you teach me how? Can you coach me? And so that is how I stumbled into my coaching practice 12 years ago. And it's morphed and evolved, and just continue to grant myself permission to do it on my terms, because what works for some doesn't necessarily work for all. And I think it's really important for us, especially as women, to constantly kind of question that. Is this still working for me this way?
Yes, the check-in.
Yeah, it's fascinating though. Like most, I mean, we have a lot of coaches on here.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We're kind of self-proclaimed coaches, but we're just OGs, which is old gals, by the way. We're not gangsters. Marci's like, "What's an OG?" I'm like, "We're old gals." Like, she's like, "I thought we were gangsters this whole time," but
we need swag.
Yeah, we decided to be open. And by the way, we're 60 some years old and we've been around. So we give ourselves permission to be coaches, right?
Beautiful.
It's fascinating. Like so many people come because they've been through some institute. In fact, Marci and I went through an institute too and did some coaching along the way. But so your coaching does not come from some professional coaching thing. This is your life coaching.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. I love that so much.
I think I learned that early on in the insurance agency. So I had no business applying to be an insurance agent. No business. I didn't have a college degree, and I also didn't have six figures in the bank, because that's what these big companies want from their new agents.
Yeah.
They want the title, the degree, and then they want you to be able to invest in their business. And I walked into that interview, oh my gosh, with the swagger and the confidence of a 23-year-old, just like I had no business walking in there. And thank God it happened way back then, when I was still naive enough to believe I deserved it. And and they asked me, this is hard, and you don't have a degree and you have no money. What makes you think you're going to make it? Oh my gosh, you guys, I started crying in the interview. Not cute cry, like mommy tears, right? Because I was a single mom, I was a new mom, and I was like, there's no other option. I have this human being now who, is responsible for me, and I'm dedicated I'm responsible for, and I'm dedicated to making our life beautiful. And so let me tell you of all the things that I've already accomplished and already the hurdles I've overcome to hopefully convince you that there's no way I won't make it. And I walked out of there. I was like, oh, I bombed that. It was and it was all men in the room. Yep. And when we started the interview, they were leaning forward, very engaged. And when the tears, could you imagine the body language?
Oh yeah. They're if they're not trying to crawl out of the room or something because they're so uncomfortable. Yeah. Might as well just start talking about your period or something.
Totally. Exactly.
Sorry guys, I got a heavy flow right now.
I should have. And they hired me. And what that told me was my lived experiences were more valuable than a piece of paper. Yeah. And I want women to hear that, especially. I want everyone to hear that, our kids, the parents.
So true.
What we have gone through, we have the degree, we have the piece of paper, our lived experiences, our trials, our failures, our learning experiences, and even just listening to the podcast, you've grown. It's just like the permission to just be that self-proclaimed, you fill in the blank and go for it. YOLO, we only live once as far as I know. So like I'm granting permission to self-appoint yourself. Don't wait for the degree or the piece of paper.
Yeah.
I think like, isn't it such an interesting time right now for, those of you who are watching, if you can see that look she just gave me for interesting times, but for working women, right? So I'm probably generation ahead of you, and those ahead of me who were working, who allowed me to have an opportunity to make a lot of money. And so I was doing a little research about, working moms right now, just because we're in this weird place where it's like, oh no, women were taking away all your rights for all the things that we have worked so hard to gain. We're now back in the 1960s. So, but the stats right now are that there are 24 million working moms in the United States. 40% of those are the breadwinners. In 1960, when a little around the time I was born, only 11% of women were the breadwinners. I thought that was kind of high for that time, considering you couldn't even get a credit card or anything, right? But
For real.
where
For
you
real.
were, right? But 74% of moms with children are in the working force in some way, shape, or form right now, right? And then I looked at what the salaries that they were getting, like $44,000. Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
Right
That's
now?
the average. Yes.
I believe that. I believe that because we're seeing the rich getting richer, and then everyone else getting poor, and it's always women who are going to be the ones to be at the bottom in terms of the salaries, just based on this system, based on patriarchy and capitalism and all of it. It's crazy. And yet try to be a family that lives on one income. Like most normal people
Impossible.
cannot do it. Yeah. It's certainly not at 44,000.
Right? What are you going to buy? Certainly not gas.
Yeah. Or a house, housing. You can't
Or
rent, you
daycare.
can't buy, or daycare. Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy.
So then, so women then get forced. There was a period where, especially around COVID, right, a lot of women stepped back a little bit and said, hey, like, I got to make a choice about, like, somebody's got to be here to take care of the kids, right? And then there's illness. And I mean, we didn't know what in the world was happening, right? But they did step back a little bit around the statistics, but now they're back out in the workforce again in getting there. But like, let's talk about what we are modeling for your children. I know this is a big deal for you. And I have learned a thing or two about this, being a working mom, and a lot of mommy guilt, severe mommy guilt for all of it. But now that my kids are older, they're like, no, that was cool. Mom was working. I want to be like her. Like, but until recently, I kind of didn't know that. So talk about your experience working through all this, and showing your kids how to show up and how to do this for them.
Yeah, this is I love this question so much. I think as parents, we maybe don't get a ton of compliments on our parenting. We get a lot of criticism, but we don't get the gold stars all the time.
Yeah, it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. By the time they're in their mid-20s or 30s, they'll get it, but it's going to take a little bit.
All right. So my gold stars have come from external, and one of the biggest compliments I ever got was from a friend who doesn't have kids, which I think is a beautiful perspective to get a perspective of someone who does not have the kids, and they're able to remove themselves and kind of compare how different people parent. And she had just come from a birthday party with a friend and their kids. And then she came over and visited me, and we had, I don't know, like a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old at the time. We were at a soccer match, and then we were going to hit up a brewery in between soccer games and catch up. And she said, one of the things I love about how you parent is that your kids fit into your life, not the other way around. And that was one of the best compliments I've ever received. Yeah. And in hindsight, I can see it and I was desperate. The only reason I parent this way now is because when I was a single mom and, quote, forced to work 2 jobs to provide and to put myself out there was no way around it. Aiden had to fit into my life.
Yes.
It was born out of desperation and circumstance. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for that, because that taught me that I'm already modeling. I'm constantly modeling.
Yeah.
And so, so many women, we have this mom guilt. And I did some mom guilt research a couple of years ago where I interviewed over 100 women. And one of the questions I asked was, can you recall the first experience of mom guilt that you encountered? And the statistics are almost 100%. It was before giving birth. It was either during pregnancy.
That was not the answer I was thinking.
It makes sense though. It's like, And Debbie and I come from the era of the what to expect when you're expecting. And they told you all the things to do and all what to eat and avoid the caffeine and do. And so, man, I was trying to do all that stuff, but in the real world. And I was working when I was pregnant. But yeah, I could see that. Like, oh, I didn't eat good today. I didn't give my baby the absolute best at developing it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's time to sacrifice your whole identity and being before
become a vessel. And then all that matters is what's in here. Yeah.
And that was very interesting. And through these women's stories, I was able to see, I can see that in myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
And on this conversation of modeling, one of the stories that really broke my heart when this woman shared was, she said, I feel a lot of guilt right now because my daughter doesn't want to have kids. And I said, what's up with that? And she says, she saw me model self-abandonment and people pleasing and turning over every part of my being to her daughter. And her daughter's like, if that's what mothering is, I want nothing to do with that.
Ooh. Hey, we just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about something very exciting that Debbie and I and our team have been working on for literally years. And that is our Cour Tools app, which is now available at the Google Play Store and at the Apple Store. And you can sign up for it now and you will get access to all the tools we've been talking about on the podcast.
And if you're an early adopter of Cour Tools, you can get a VIP price for $49 for a lifetime. That's
lifetime.
Right.
Buy it once and we'll keep updating it too.
Yes. So we're super excited about this. Go to Apple Store, go to Google Play, and purchase it now.
Cour Tools, COUR, capital TOOLS.
Go get it.
This generation and these upcoming generations are just they're awake and aware. And so, they pick up on that kind of stuff and then have that mental capacity to be like, that's what's happening there. And that's not for me or whatever.
The invitation, can we model not self-abandonment?
Yes.
How do we do that? That's the invitation. That's the permission slips that I'd love for women to start just doling out for them and dads too, right? If you're experiencing this.
Yeah. I think like the whole concept of modeling, I think back to Marci and my first few conversations, around the Warrior Parent podcast and what makes us the experts. And we're sort of learning while we're doing it, right? But this thread of modeling has come through the entire 3 years we've been doing this or so. And so I think for she and I, that wasn't a term we thought about. It was just like modeling was, oh, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. And like, that's the way we were taught, right? Like,
and do it perfectly and do it all, because we're coming up in the 80s and 90s. And so bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan, be the sexy wife, do all the things. And do it well and never sweat, never let them see you sweat, like all this bullshit. Versus, hey, I'm struggling, or I need help, or whatever the, like, being real and authentic so that our kids can connect with us, and it's not this weird mom's perfect, I have to be perfect, or whatever the weird thing is.
And that we all do it so differently, and that's what makes it beautiful. The way the three of us have parented, I guarantee, is vastly different. But when we start to do this compare and despair thing with other moms, or when we post something and we get negative feedback, I posted the whole mom guilt research came out of a post that I did a couple years ago. It was a picture of, I have 2 kids in college. Well, one graduated. Yay! Another one in college. Another one coming up the ranks. We'll see what happens. But I was sending my daughter back to college, and I didn't want to drive her to the airport. We're like 2 hours away from the airport. It was a Saturday. I didn't want to do it. So I put her on the airport shuttle. I just put her on the shuttle, and she got to the airport. And I posted that, and I said, I want 4 hours. I want 4 hours for me today. And so I put my daughter on the airport shuttle, and mommy's not happy. Mom's not happy about
Unreal.
me
Yeah.
putting myself first. And that was like, oh, there's something here. Oh, there's something here. Because a lot of the comments were, oh, I love car time. I love having conversations with my kids in the car.
All right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Do
You
it.
you do you.
Yes.
You do you, but let's not mommy shame each other, because that's where
Yeah.
so much of this guilt comes from. And so
No.
another permission slip is to like take a beat and say, what kind of mom or parent do I want to be? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to look like everyone else's.
Yeah.
And can
It
we give
won't.
ourselves permission to be authentic, like you said, Marci?
I
Yeah,
think,
for
you know,
real.
for me, I was just going to say, I think moms are getting better about supporting each other, but maybe not. Maybe not. Like, so when I was working, you know, for 40 years ago, you know, I was business suit, flying, jet setting, showing up in my high heels at the grade school, right? And the look from those moms, like how
Mhm.
dare you show up like that? Like, I don't know, like, is your husband looking or something? Like, I don't know. It was weird. I'm just like, you know, wouldn't I have loved to have like lunch with you guys? But meanwhile, raced from the airport to get here for this event. And my God, that was my entire life with my
Mhm.
kids. It was horrible. As a result, I
Yeah.
had very few friends in the neighborhood, kind of didn't get invited, you know, like, but I kind of didn't have time to do it anyway, right? But so I kept thinking, I'm hopeful that for women your age that this is getting better, that women
Yeah.
can be more supportive because a lot more women have to work now. They don't have a choice about this, right? So that's
Yeah.
not true. That's not what you're.
I don't know the statistics,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but from what I see on the whole trad wife situation,
Yeah.
out there,
Right.
there's still a lot of differing opinions on what being
Yeah.
a good woman looks like.
Yeah. And I feel like in that particular community, there is a lot of shaming and a lot of like, if
Mm.
you're not doing it this way, you're not doing it right. And
Mhm.
which is no, thank you. Like, and
Yeah.
yeah, let us just, like you said, show up and do it our way and have conversations without, for sure, not shaming anyone. Like
Yeah.
that's so, I don't
And
know.
just also like if you don't want to be judged, don't judge other people, and just having compassion for each other. I did a poll on social media. I said, who has more mom guilt? Stay-at-home moms or working moms?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea what people were going to say, but the stay-at-home moms said it's them, and the working moms said it's them. And so that makes total sense to me. And also, let's step back from your answer, and can we have compassion for the other person who's
Right.
experiencing the same exact thing you are
Yes.
in a
Yeah.
different way?
Right.
Yeah.
Let it unify us. Let it understand that
Yes.
we're always feeling like we're not doing enough or not doing it right, whatever we're doing. And that's society too. No, because if you
Mhm.
work, you're going to get shamed for that. If you stay
Yeah.
home, you're going to get shamed for that. If you wear some makeup and dress up, you're going to get shamed for that. If you don't,
Yeah.
you're not taking care of yourself. You know, if you're, are you too skinny? Are you too fat? Are you too, like, what? Did you actually buy a Starbucks coffee? Like
Yeah.
there's anything we do as women, and probably there's plenty of judgment out for everyone, but I do feel like particularly for women, there is just so much judgment. And why do we should definitely not be doing it to each other. And it'd be nice if society could give us a break too. But in the end, it starts with us. It starts with us giving ourselves a break with what you're talking about, the permission slip.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. And I have a feeling this podcast is having that loosening effect, right?
Oh,
Just
I
share.
hope so.
Trying.
Absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
trying.
It cannot
Yeah.
be having impact.
Yeah.
I mean, we have been and have had some of the most
Mm.
amazing young moms. A lot of people, like who I tell, like, oh, where your parent podcast, are like kind of looking at me like, aren't you kind of old? What to be doing that? I'm like, yeah, well, I don't have grandkids. I'm technically a parent still. Not that I'm not hoping for
You'll
grandkids
always be a parent too,
any day.
right? And it's
Yeah.
Mhm.
always like that's the one job that you will do forever. And that warrior aspect for sure. Like it takes me right back to where you started talking about you as in an interview and them saying, what makes you think you can do this? And you immediately just feel like I have no choice. That's the warrior parent. Like I am here for my kid and I am not going to let them suffer and I'm not going to let them not have a home or not food or whatever. So I'm going to do whatever. that is a warrior. That's what it means. You show up and you're going to do what you need to do.
On the very high spectrum, some of the people that we've seen are like these conscious parents of these little kids.
That's so
So
cute.
fun.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. Like to think of like us, like leave them in the bed and let them cry, right? Because that's what we thought we were supposed to do to them, going,
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of learned that they can't control themselves, so we just tortured
Yeah.
them. We tortured
Right.
them in their crib when we weren't supposed to do that, right? And they're like out there and they're learning, and they're not out there like preaching like, oh, like everybody has to be a conscious parent. They're learning in these groups of moms who are just trying to do better and don't want to parent like their parents, and not no diss to the parents because we're just doing the best we could. But
Right.
man,
It's
like
fascinating.
that inspires us. That inspires us
Yeah.
that even though we may not have been able to do that, well, we do that now with our adult children, of course, but to think how far we've come in this little time, in say 50 years or
Yeah.
so, 40 years.
Yeah.
A
There used
lot.
to be a guy named Dr. Spock who said, don't spoil your kids and don't pick them up when they're crying. You can over this them, or even just this idea that you can spoil a child, by as if they were a bad piece of meat or something that, yeah.
It really is
Yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful opportunity for us as parents to have an invitation to continue to learn and to
Hmm.
grow and understand that we'll continue to get it wrong because we didn't know better. And as Maya
Yeah.
Angelou says, when we know better, we get to do better. And
Yes. Love
it's
that.
the hardest, most painful, most beautiful journey.
Yeah.
It really is. It really
Yeah.
is.
I wanted to talk to you about one other thing. I was reading some of your posts, but you were posting about, we're talking about women in this weird space right now, but you were talking about women and money. And we're talking about, not apologizing for what you're doing in the world. And you talk about women and money, and not being afraid to say, this is how much money I make. Like men do it. I'm a millionaire. I'm a this, I'm a that. But when a woman does it, like, shh, like,
Oh, yeah.
like you're not wearing your manners, right? Like, come on. Like, how dare you
Absolutely.
brag about yourself? But I wanted to read this. I feel like this was really beautifully, and I don't know if this was your quote exactly or if you took this from some other places. It says, because when women have money, we lift others up. Hopefully we're lifting other women up, right? We pay women, we invest in ourselves, we donate to causes that will change the world. In the crew, we tackle the things we've been conditioned not to discuss. Money's one of them. How to charge what you're worth without apologizing, right? We're always apologizing, right?
Yes.
How to negotiate your salary or raise your rates, how to invest in yourself without guilt, how to build wealth, not just income, how to talk about money without shame. If you're ready to talk about money openly, honestly, and without apology, the crew is where that happens. So that's you. That's your group, right? But man, I think that's powerful. Like I kind of got goosebumps reading it, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you can't step into that place of power and own it and own your money and own who you are and how far you've come, what are we doing? What's the point?
What's the point?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My husband's a pilot and they sit around and talk about money all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. It's
Yeah.
also like
Yeah.
there's no like if Tom makes less than the person that he's chatting with, it's not ew. Or if the person makes more, it's not like, oh God, it's like, oh, that's inspiring. Let's talk about how you got there.
Yes.
And we have been full on conditioned that it's rude, it's taboo, it's unladylike. I don't know, talk about
Right.
our period. Thank you so much for bringing that up. How rude.
Yeah.
Sex, money,
Yeah.
all of the things. And so, yeah, one of the things that we do in the crew is really just talk about the things that we've been conditioned not to talk about. And it's like self-help with money. We've been told you can't pour from an empty cup, which I hate that saying because like who says I want to pour? Like, what if I just want a full cup for a while,
Yeah.
And
I love
so
that.
what I
You said
tell,
that the other day when we talked, and it has been
Mhm.
so forefront of my mind for the last week. I just keep saying, yeah, yeah. I mean, true. Like you need that cup full, but it's not just full so you can pour it for other people. It's full because it's supposed to be full for you. Like have it full. And of course,
Yes.
it's going to overflow to other people. But even if it didn't, what if you just filled it to the top and then you just had your cup all full?
Yes.
A man would do that. A man would fill his cup up and then like be like, okay, I'm going to go watch some TV.
Or ask you to fill it up for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Your cup looks kind of full. I
but
need
we're
some of
like,
that.
okay, here, you and you and you. Oh, it's okay. I still have I'm fine. Like eating the toast crust
Oh,
and calling it breakfast after your kids were done.
there you
Yeah.
go. Well, yeah, it's like we've only been in community with a woman who is like running around with a full cup. You know what she feels like, and you also
Yeah.
know how she makes you feel. She didn't
Yes.
have to
Yes.
pour. Her being inspires. And so I tell the women in the crew, just keep pouring it. Like it'll start splashing out. And everybody gets these beautiful splashes and the beautiful
Mm,
wholeness that you bring. So let's relate that to money. I
yeah.
guarantee you're not going to hoard it. I guarantee.
No.
If you make more money than you have ever dreamed of making, or just enough, whatever that is for you, I guarantee it's not going to stay in your little piggy bank or
No,
under the
absolutely.
mattress. You're going to hire women
Absolutely.
to help you.
Yeah.
You are going to invest in yourself. You are going to spend money on causes. So, like, and let's talk about that. If you go to my website, it will say, if you invest in the crew, a portion of your money is going to go to these causes that I believe in.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And that comes right back to where you started, where you said you had to get clear about what your values are. And this is something that we love to talk about too, is like that's a starting point. Like what are your values and the way you're living? Is it in accordance with those values, in support of those values? And so that's a perfect example that part of your, in old times from the Bible, they called it tithing, but it comes in and then you feed the things that feed you, the things that you believe in, the things that are uplifting, the things that really matter up others and making the world a better place. And boy, what could be better? That's amazing.
I
That's what
think
we
we're
do.
running out of time. Dang it. We could
Yeah.
talk to Mari
And
all
we didn't even
day.
get to the story about Thanksgiving. So we do have to have you back because people need to hear that
Perfect.
story. The time that Mari took off at Thanksgiving and
Oh, yeah.
didn't
Okay, we're
cook the
coming back.
fucking
We're coming
turkey.
back for sure. Okay,
Yes.
tell us how people find you. Tell
Yes.
us how
Yeah.
people get to be coached by you, with you, all that.
Okay. Yeah. Instagram's a great place to just like connect and get to know me, get to know my vibe, get to know my values, what I believe in and stand for. And if that all sounds good, you can figure out my website from there.
Awesome.
Okay.
And what's your Instagram?
Mari Wuellner. Maybe if we can put it in the show notes, just my first and
It
last
will.
name. Super
Yes.
simple.
And it's not spelled the way you think. So look at the notes.
I know it's tricky.
That's fun. I love that. Love the unexpected.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mari. What a great conversation.
Yes.
We definitely will have you back.
Yes.
This was beautiful. I
Yes.
really appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
She got a full cup, folks.
Yes.
She got a full cup.
Let's all get our cups full and then just sit there and enjoy the full cup. Put our feet in the sand. I don't know, whatever.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
And now for your core mental health break. This is your opportunity to take a moment to support your mental wellness, your peace of mind, your own ease and grace. Take some time every day to support your mental health. You deserve it, and it matters. Today's affirmation is, everyone deserves love, including me. Say it aloud. Everyone deserves love, including me. Everyone deserves love, including me. Thanks for listening to the Warrior Parent Podcast, which is a production of our nonprofit, Cour Experience. who also creates and distributes Cour tools. You can find us at courexperience.org. Make sure you join us next week for another informative conversation to help you and your family show up mindfully, purposefully, and joyfully with each other and in your community.
Our Cour Tools platform consists of a number of proven tools and techniques that are designed to reduce stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in spite of what's going on in your world. We want to thank Samuel Hale, LLC, for sponsoring this podcast. Technical and marketing support comes from Inspire Your Brand. Our podcast editor is Justin Beeden. Opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the producers, or the financial supporters. I'm Debbie DiManno.
And I'm Marci Mitchell. Thanks for listening. If you resonate with the idea of creating a community to help support kids and families, won't you join us by following the podcast and sharing this episode? You can even write a review. It truly does take a village, and we appreciate you.